Please welcome actor and comedian who served 7 years as a cast member for Saturday Night Live, Rachel Dratch.
You're enjoying your day, everything's going your way. Then along comes Debbie Downer. Always there to tell you about a new disease, a car accident or killer bees. You beg her to spare you, Debbie, please, but you can't stop Debbie Downer.
What up, Jews? How we all Jewin'? I am here to speak to you today about Judaism, just like AJ, and all things Jewish, and I decided that to really sound authentic, I'm going to do my entire speech in this voice. Well, don't you all look lovely today? It's so nice to see so many Jewish young people gathered together. You clean up so nicely. I don't know that I'm entirely qualified to speak about being Jewish. I mean, I'm hardly a learned Jew. But I was raised Reform. I went to Hebrew school. I learned the Ve'ahavta. And I was bat mitzvahed, and then it all kind of went downhill from there. Maybe you can relate. But being Jewish may be in my consciousness, but it's definitely not part of my daily routine. I was thinking about this. I realized it's in the consciousness in terms of some of my SNL characters, and especially for Debbie Downer, I was realizing, because even though the character of Debbie Downer isn't Jewish, I don't think I could have come up with her if I wasn't Jewish myself. Bringing up what could go wrong in any situation is such a Jewish thing. Actually, my dad's oldest sister is fluent in Yiddish, and she was teaching it at her retirement community in Scottsdale, Arizona. And she gave me one of her little dictionaries she had made up for the Yiddish language, and I was flipping through it, and what I noticed was that every term in the dictionary meant something bad. It was like, miserable, he's a good-for-nothing, he should rot. It was like, it's like the Alaskans have 20 words for snow. But as a religion, I don't even know if I understand what Judaism is as a religion. I'm not even sure what we believe. When someone asks me, all I can stammer out is that we believe in one God. A God that over the years I've drifted in and out of believing in anyway. And that's about it. That's what I got. We believe in one God. That and the 10 Commandments, which, let's face it, the 10 Commandments are sort of the no-duh of any religion. So I guess on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a Hasidic Jew and 1 being you have a Christmas tree at the holidays, I'm probably a 3. But Judaism has been on my mind more lately for 2 reasons, and one is that I had a baby, and the second is, thank you, I should have put a picture up for some cheap applause. I had a baby, and the other thing is that I wrote a book, which is an autobiographical book, and it actually comes out on Thursday, so, and I'll be doing my very first signing after this, so I'm excited about that. But in writing the book and having the baby, actually the book is a little bit about the baby. It's about how I had kind of a surprise baby at age 44. But it made me think about Judaism, both of these things, because for one thing, I had my baby with a non-Jewish man, and having a child makes you think about what Judaism means to you and what do you want to pass on to your child and how important it is to you to pass it on. But having a child with a non-Jew makes all of this even more pressing, because it's not just taken for granted your kid's going to be Jewish. You have to kind of like stake your claim about it and, well, I want this. And then you have to, well, why do I want this? So even though in my instance, my son's dad is kind of a lapsed Catholic, he wasn't really insisting on anything, here I was with a son, Eli Benjamin. I won out on the name thing. How would I fare at explaining this thing that I wanted for him? Well, John, my son's father, has no knowledge of Judaism at all. So I'm not even sure he'd met many Jewish people in his life. I was bringing John to his first Jewish event, which was a Seder held at my friend's apartment in New York. It was a pretty casual affair. Each couple there was basically one Jew and one non-Jew together as a couple. And I was faced with the task of explaining Passover to John. And you realize how little you know about your own religion when you hear the stuff coming out of your mouth. John said, so what is this we're going to? I was like, it's a Seder. What is it? What do we do? Well, it celebrates when the Jews escaped from Egypt. It's just like a dinner party, only there are little readings throughout. Wait, am I going to have to read something? He said. Yeah, but don't worry about it. Everyone reads a little part. It's not a big deal. He goes, so we have dinner, but people are reading during it, so it's like a murder mystery? I pause. Yeah, it's like a murder mystery. When pressed for details about everything, and I heard myself explaining, the stuff coming out of my mouth sounded like I may as well have been describing the Swahili creation myth. Passover is a celebration of the Jews getting out of Egypt, and there's this plate of symbolic foods on the table, and we explain what the foods mean. There's the bitter herbs that represent our... I'm really popping my peas here. Okay, hold on. The bitter herbs that represent our the bitterness of our plight, and the salt water represents our tears. My mind started racing about how John was going to react to various parts of the Seder. We opened the door so Elijah the prophet could come in and leave a cup of wine for him. I may as well be saying, oh, and we wait for a ghost to come in and have a drink with us. And then what about the 10 plagues? That could be a problem. See, we list the 10 plagues that God sent down upon the ancient Egyptians, and you put a drop of wine on your plate for each plague. I started thinking how weird it was going to be when he's at this dinner party and we start saying in unison, vermin, boils, slaying of the firstborn. If I were happening upon someone's religion for the first time and everyone was tossing around the phrase slaying of the firstborn, I might make a mental note of the exits. So how am I going to sell him on my religion? I started to wish the Jews had had better PR people back when they were making up all of our traditions. Didn't they know what we'd be up against? Santa Claus and Christmas trees and caroling and eggnog, Easter bunnies and baskets of chocolate, and what are we offering? No, seriously, get on board with me. Yom Kippur, guys. Here comes the part we don't eat all day. Or, you think you'd like an Easter basket full of candy, boys and girls? No, you're Jewish. How about some dry, unleavened bread topped with a dollop of horseradish? Gather round. Really, elders? This is supposed to lure people in and keep them coming back? Our idea of a good time is folk dancing in a circle, our wine, our Jewish wine. Come on. What is up with our wine? And also, our idea of a genuine taste treat is hamantaschen, a pastry filled with prunes. Prunes! That's the best you can do? Okay, it's true. We do have Hanukkah gelt, but first of all, I just have to say, in terms of treats to entice Jewish kids, can we go with the higher quality chocolate in the Hanukkah gelt? Thank you. Is there some ancient law that decreed it has to be just 1% real chocolate? This stuff doesn't even melt. If you don't eat that shit in 3 days, it will turn white. We, as Jews, have produced brilliant scientists and physicists and chemists. Is there someone out there who could up the quality levels on our Hanukkah gelt? And second, with the gelt, come on, ancient PR guys. You're gonna have our kids play with chocolate money? Come on! Could we have come up with something besides money? How about an animal? How about a little matching game or something? A chocolate bunny. We have to hand the world this fodder that our children are playing dreidel in some sort of rudimentary stock exchange game? Let's rethink this. Okay, I'll stop my ranting. In spite of some of these non-selling points and my inability to explain the religion itself, Judaism is important to me, and I was surprised when I was writing this book because it's basically my life story, and I was surprised by how many Jewish references kept popping in. Just a few examples. I was talking about dating and how I've never really been one to strut my stuff, and that chapter ended up being called Body by Shtetl. It's true, as a descendant of Russian Jewish peasantry, I have huge boobs and no ankles to prove it. Shtetl bod. When I went to write about my college experience, being a Jewish girl at Dartmouth in the 80s, I felt like I didn't fit in, and well, that chapter ended up being called Wasp World. So I didn't set out to write about being Jewish. I actually ended up cutting some Jewish parts from the book because I just didn't want to alienate the Gentile readers, but it kept surfacing on its own. So, like many Jews today, I do feel connected culturally more than spiritually or religiously, But I do yearn for Judaism to inform my daily life more, and maybe that's why I'm here, to find out about how other modern American Jews are relying on Judaism to guide them. I think it would be nice if during my day I could turn to, well, Jews believe this. If I read about a tragedy in the world, or if I'm wondering, is there life after death? Or if a friend of mine is flaking out on plans, and I could just say, you know, Maimonides said blah, blah, blah. And really use Judaism to live. But if that isn't happening yet, I'm still striving for that now, especially with a child. In the meantime, what does it say when we say we're connected culturally to Judaism? Because a lot of people say that. Well, it means we feel connected to the tribe of our ancestors that came before us, the tribe of Jews in the whole world, and the tribe of Jews here in North America. And it's important to me to keep my connection to the tribe. We have a shorthand. We have a shared common experience. I know if you're Jewish, you're probably focused on education, you're probably funny, and you're probably sensitive to the suffering in the world around you. And to me, that's what it means to be Jewish. I know as a kid, you probably had a place in your house picked out for if the Nazis came to your suburban town, where you would hide in your house, and we all had that, right? Did I just bring up Nazis at TribeFest? Wah, wah. And I know that if I bust out into a rousing rendition of Zoom Golly Golly, you can all join right in, even if we don't know what the hell Zoom Golly Golly means. It is ours. It belongs to us. We are the tribe. We pray in a language we don't understand. Our music is in a weird minor key that is both sad and beautiful at the same time. And though we boast many amazing chefs, we cannot get it together on the Jewish food thing. It sucks, and we know it, and we still eat it because that's how we show we are in the tribe. But I know I don't want to be the link in the chain that breaks from the tribe, not after all these thousands of years of carrying it on. So here we are, meeting up in the desert to exchange ideas and knowledge and laughs, and who knows, maybe play the nickel slots. Why not? Last time we were here, Marty won $7. And I'm sure if you're feeling the urge, there'll be an opportunity to folk dance in a circle. Convening with other Jews is one of the most important things we can do to keep Judaism alive and going, because I may not know what Lag BaOmer is, and I may not know what Rabbi Akiva said to Rabbi Laban. But I know when I'm with other Jews, I feel like I'm home. Even though I'm in a huge hotel ballroom in Vegas, I'm in the desert, I'm with the tribe, and I am home. Thank you.